Hi, Sophie!
Hi, Sin.
Hi, everyone. And welcome to How to Catch a Fearsome Critter, Episode 5. Today, we're talking about the Leprechaun, a fearsome critter who is both naughty and nice. Fearsome critters are creatures who tend to hang around logging camps in North American forests. Lumberjacks told stories of fearsome critters in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Most of our information comes from the 1910's Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods by William T. Cox and 1939's Fearsome Critters by Henry H. Tran. Today, however, we're only looking at work conducted by Cox, since Tryon doesn't mention a leprechaun in his book.
Yeah. I just like the very professional way you're describing this. We can tell that you're a research assistant. This is your lit review.
So, the Leprechaun. In terms of appearance, the illustration showing the Leprechaun in Creatures of the Lumberwoods makes them look like Beast from X-Men, but not as hairy and shorter. What do you think?
There's going to be a number of X-Men references, I think, during this. Because there's another X-Man that I think they have a lot more in common with.
Like who?
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay, exciting. Yeah.
People will probably be able to tell based on the location.
Okay, cool. As for their location, they were seen in Canada, Ontario, near the Madawaska River, but they seem to originally come from north of Ireland. Interestingly enough, when living in Ireland, in addition to being athletic, the Leprechaun was super playful and fun. They would also show off somersaults, leap over small mountains, and I have here a quote from Cox that's going to be read by a little slug who cannot tell a lie.
A favorite trick was to bore into a pile of drying peat, and then, with a sudden spring, send the clouds of peat high into the air, till the commotion looked like a young cyclone.
Thank you, little slug who cannot tell a lie.
That's alright. Thank you for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure.
Hi, Sophie here. In this exciting series, we're talking about the cryptids known as the fearsome critters of the Lumberwoods. But here at Sinclair Law, we have our own cryptid, for some reason, the little slug who cannot lie. By many, by which I mean all, the Snack Covenant characters, such as Ibruitus and Jersey Miyazaki, the little slug who cannot lie began life as a sarcastic comment from me to Sin about what a terrible idea for a character that would be and how it's a good thing it's not real, and then she paid someone to draw it and it's real now, and also you can get it on a mug, and I have it on a mug. If you'd like to hear the exciting origin of the little slug who cannot lie as it happened, you can check out the video, All the Screams That Followed, The Making of Willem Bergenworth. The slug is about 40 minutes in. I don't remember the rest of it. Back to the podcast.
You know what, Sophie?
What?
I'm gonna go as far as to say that they probably mastered the superhero landing.
Yeah,
very athletic, very fun, very on point, just like all the Marvel movies except for Hulk.
Do you consider the X-Men movies Marvel movies?
No.
No?
No. Not until they come into the actual universe, at least.
I'm sure they will.
But Sophie, I have some bad news. When the Leprechaun was brought to Canada, they changed. They became aggressive. They became feared and avoided. This is really sad. Clearly, they didn't like it here.
Yeah.
This tragic story, combined with the superhero landing, reminded me of another story and gave me a vision. Could you please describe the pictures I just sent you?
I'm not sure I can. It's a leprechaun, and they're in a very nice suit. And then in one picture they look sad, and then in the next picture they look angry.
Which superhero is this?
I was thinking like John Pertwee as Doctor Who, but go on. Hi, Sophie here. Sin sent me a Discord message asking me to please explain who John Pertwee is. John Pertwee played Doctor Who between 1970 and 1974. He's the one who kind of looks like Austin Powers. In a simpler and more innocent time, we could call him the Third Doctor. However, the series has completely disappeared up its own arse, and there's now an indeterminate number of incarnations both before and after William Hartnell. Yes, I know they kind of did the same thing in the New Adventures, but, as you'll recall from Dead Romance, the New Adventures universe is in fact a self-contained bottle universe that is within the universe of the BBC TV series. This means the two continuities don't need to line up, which is why we got two different versions of human nature. And also, confusingly, the BBC novels do seem to take place in the bottle because Father Kreiner from Interference is in the bottle universe from Dead Romance. I haven't watched an entire episode for years and I just don't care. Back to the podcast. Well, Sin, you sent me two pictures of the leprechaun. He's wearing a very, very nice suit. And in one, he looks sad, and in one, he looks very angry.
And who is it meant to represent?
Well, we can do this. See, I thought initially that the suit was in shadow. But the suit's actually half and half. It's two different colours, which makes me think we've now left the traditional Sin domain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and entered the DC universe. And what we're looking at is Zack Snyder's Leprechaun, representing Two-Face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because, Two-Face has this tragic story, and he's happy and sad, and I just felt the parallel,
But he's happy and sad at the same time. He just flips a coin.
Listen, I don't follow DC, okay?
Like, whenever they introduce, like, Harvey Dent into something, it's like watching someone walk slowly toward a banana peel. Because you know exactly what's going to happen. It's like, oh, where are you? Oh, there's a barrel of something next to you? They're getting a bit on you.
Thank you, Sophie. And this was drawn by our good friend WesAhmedMD.
Thank you, WesAhmed.
Thank you, Wes. It was very awesome, beautiful drawing.
It is, yeah.
And Wes has actually entered some of our contests in the past. He's super talented.
He has, yes, I've noticed.
Yeah. So for the next section, Sophie, take it away.
Alright, so we're going to look at what the Leprechaun did after its supervillain origin story. So what the Leprechaun starts doing after this is it's apparently got enormous claws, which I didn't know about. And did it have those when it left Ireland, or did it grow them in response to hating Canada? I love that this thing's supervillain origin story is it hates Canada. The sheer hatred of Canada possessed by the leprechaun causes it to grow enormous claws.
Aww.
And then it starts attacking, like basically sleighs, like teams of animals pulling the sleds with the lumber on them. And it cuts the lumber loose, and it the lumber all goes everywhere, and then if you don't immediately run when that leprechaun shows up, it will eat you because it eats the animals.
Back in Ireland, the leprechauns were happy. They were doing somersaults, Sophie.
What is it about Ireland that stopped this happening?
I don't know.
Do you think it's like axolotls, where like the cute little leprechaun is like the neotenic form of this monster, and something about Ireland was stopping them growing?
Oh, so Ireland is like kryptonite?
Maybe.
I'll level with you, Sophie. I don't know that much about superheroes.
We're in this stupid situation where, like, I know these things, but I don't know the MCU. And you only know the M, so we're just trying to meet in the middle. Like, I know we're going to end up having this conversation where I'm explaining that, like, Spider-Man No Way Home is based on a really terrible story called One More Day, but that was different. And in that one, it was about trying to bring Aunt May back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So anyway... Now that we know their struggles, their sadness, their highs, their lows, their joys, their dreams, how do we catch one?
Alright, so I was thinking, like, this is well before you started making this about various cinematic multiverses, right?
Okay.
I was thinking, like, okay, let's think about the Leprechaun.
Mm-hmm.
It's got claws.
Mm-hmm.
It's short.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from Canada, but... despite being from Canada, every time we see it, it's not played by someone who's Canadian.
Wolverine!
It's Wolverine.
Oh, snap!
Yeah. So then I'm like, alright, how does Wolverine die? Wolverine's got the indestructible healing factor.
Right.
Right. You blow him up in an atomic blast, he comes back as a skeleton, just regrows Wolverine.
Yeah, you can't kill Wolverine. He's unkillable.
Well, no, I think you'll find. Listen, that, Wolverine's metal claws, right?
Yeah.
That's not part of his mutation, they're actually bone claws and his skeleton's coated in metal. So eventually, the metal does poison him.
Blasphemy.
I know. There was also one where they pulled all the metal out of Wolverine.
Why?
With Magneto. So he lost his metal claws, but because there was no metal on his skeleton, his healing factor was augmented. So he's even harder to kill.
Oh, wow.
I think what actually happened is that this is like Wolverine, and the leprechauns, when they came over from Ireland, they were kidnapped and put into the Weapon X program.
Oh my god, yes!
Yeah.
That's where you were trying to go with the previous references.
Yeah, it made sense when I did it. It reminds me of Two-Face because it's angry. Two-Face, the only angry supervillain.
Sophie, do the outro.
That was How to Catch a Fearsome Critter, Episode 5, The Leprechaun, which is now part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I guess. We should also point out that Leprechaun in this book is spelled Leprocaun, which is different to the traditional spelling of leprechaun that we're used to, which is Leprechaun. And the fact that it's written like Leprechaun like that, it makes me think of that makes it even more like a comic book character to me, because it's like we're trying to come up with something we can copyright. It's like those He-Man characters that are called like Bash or something. Because they can't...
Yes.
With just like random hyphens and O's in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sophie. That was a very informative podcast.
Thank you, Sin.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. And see you next time when we discuss the Funeral Mountain Terror Shot.
See, that sounds cool. I want to talk about that.